All right, welcome. Today we are diving into one of the absolute cornerstones of cloud computing, infrastructure as a service, or as you'll almost always hear it, IaaS. Let's get right into what that really means when you're ready to build something in the cloud. So, just imagine for a second. You need all the power of a data center. We're talking servers, networking, storage, the whole shebang. But you really don't want the nightmare of buying, housing, and maintaining all that expensive, clunky hardware. What if you could just rent it? Well, that's the exact problem IaaS was built to solve.
So let's get down to it. What in the world is infrastructure as a service? The simplest way to put it, it's the absolute foundation, the bedrock, that you can build pretty much anything you can dream of on top of in the cloud.
Now, the one word I want you to remember here is control, because out of all the cloud service models, IaaS gives you the most of it. The cloud provider handles all the physical stuff, the actual servers and racks, the blinking lights, the cooling systems, while you get total control over all the software, from the operating system all the way up.
Okay, here's the best way to think about it, and I promise this will make everything click. Imagine IaaS is like leasing a plot of land. The landlord makes sure the land is there, it's secure, and it has utilities like water and power. But you're the builder. You get to design and build whatever kind of house you want on it.
So, following that analogy, if you're leasing this piece of cloud land, who's actually responsible for what? This division of labor is absolutely crucial to understand because it really defines the whole relationship you have with your cloud provider.
It's a pretty clear split, right? On one side, you've got the cloud provider. They're the landlord. They handle the physical servers, make sure the internet is flowing, and keep the building itself secure. And on the other side, well, that's you, the builder. You're in charge of everything from installing the operating system to setting up your networks and databases, and most importantly, managing and securing all of your own apps and data.
Now, this split in who does what isn't just some casual handshake agreement. It's actually a formal concept in the cloud. Think of it as the official lease agreement for your plot of land, spelling out exactly who's on the hook for what.
And this lease agreement has a name. It's called the shared responsibility model. The key thing to get with IaaS is that the scale is tipped heavily in your direction. Since you get the most control to build whatever you want, you also carry the most responsibility for keeping it all safe and running smoothly. And you can see that split pretty clearly here. The provider handles the physical metal and the internet pipes, but everything else, that's on you. Installing the operating system, patching it, all your network rules, and the security of your actual applications and data, it really is your house, which means you're the one who has to remember to lock the doors.
Okay, so we've got our plot of land, and we know what we're responsible for. The next logical question is, what do people actually build using IaaS? Let's take a look at two of the most common blueprints out there.
When you have this much raw flexibility, a couple of use cases really shine. Two of the most common blueprints you'll see are migrating existing systems as is, which we call a lift and shift, and creating these temporary, super cost-effective environments for testing and development. So first up is lift and shift. This is often one of the quickest ways for a company to get into the cloud. You're basically creating a copy of your existing data center, but on the IaaS provider's hardware. In our analogy, it's like picking up your current house, foundation and all, and just moving it over to that new plot of land you're leasing. You're not rebuilding from scratch, you're just relocating.
The second big one is perfect for testing and development. Because you have all this control, you can spin up a whole new server environment in minutes, run whatever tests you need, and then just tear it all down when you're done. This is like building a temporary workshop or a model home on your land. You use it for exactly as long as you need it, and then it's gone. No long-term costs, no mess. So after all that, after we've looked at what IaaS is, who does what, and a couple of ways it's used, what's the single most important idea to walk away with? Well, it all boils down to one thing: control. This quote just says it all perfectly. At its core, you are leasing the fundamental building blocks, the hardware. What you do with it, how you configure it, and what you build on top of it, that is entirely up to you. The power and the responsibility is in your hands. And really, that brings us right to the end. IaaS gives you the ultimate in flexibility. It's a blank slate, a fresh plot of land with all the basic utilities hooked up and ready to go. The only real question left is, what are you going to build?